Hello, everybody, and welcome to this RDBA webinar, Leveraging Social Media to Engage Shoppers and Drive Purchases. I am Stephanie Schultz, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives at ARC, and also the RD Ambassador to RDBA. It is our pleasure to welcome all of you today to share this webinar that has been sponsored by California Walnut Commission. Next slide, please. All right, today's speakers, we have an amazing lineup. So we have Jenna Werner with us. She is a registered dietitian nutritionist and owner of Happy, Strong, Healthy, a private practice that uses mindful eating, behavior change management, and intuitive eating to help clients heal their relationship with food, fitness, body, and self. Jenna is also the co-host of the What the Actual Fork podcast, a name that I absolutely love, which is a platform that uses research, experience, and fun to help humans realize that they are made for so much more than chasing a smaller body. As a previous retail dietitian, Jenna weaves the communication skills learned in the store into her successful social media channels today. We also have Lynette Helm-Lee. She is a registered dietitian and has been so for the past 8 years, while also being employed at ShopRite of Jersey City. Lynette prides herself as a diverse dietitian using a food-first approach to help customers bridge the gap between nutrition education and the realistic implementation in their lives. Lynette believes that you don't have to deviate from your cultural and familiar way of eating to achieve healthy outcomes. As a dietitian, Lynette's main focus is on chronic disease management, or heart disease and diabetes. And last but certainly not least, we have Jennifer Olmstead, and she's the Senior Director of U.S. Marketing and Communications at the California Walnut Commission. Jennifer joined the California Walnut Board and California Walnut Commission in 2007. While initially involved in export marketing programs, the majority of her tenure there has exclusively focused on building demand in the U.S. market. Jennifer's experience includes all facets of domestic marketing for the California Walnuts, including consumer advertising, public relations, retail programs, health professional outreach, social media, industrial and food service activities. In her current role, she focuses primarily on communications efforts to consumers and health professionals while also working on their retail efforts. Next slide, please. A little bit of housekeeping. We want to start with the disclosures and make sure that everybody is fully aware that this webinar has been funded by the California Walnut Commission. Jenna Werner is a dietitian and a paid partner with the California Walnut Commission, and Lynette is a registered dietitian and currently employed at ShopRite of Jersey City. Next slide. And some housekeeping. So this webinar has been approved for 1 CPEU. It will be recorded as well as hosted live today. That CPEU will come out in an email within 24 hours of this presentation. And you will also have a link in that email to a post-webinar survey, and we ask that you please do respond to that for the California Walnut Commission. And last but certainly not least, we just want to say a huge thank you to California Walnut Commission, because these webinars do not happen without great sponsors like them. Next slide. So the learning objectives today are the last thing that I'll cover before I step away, but we are going to identify how to bring shopper-friendly recipes to life across social channels and in-store to encourage purchase. We will learn how to use walnuts as a nutritious and versatile plant-based ingredient and pair it with seasonal fruits and vegetables. And we will also learn how to identify and engage local influencer partnerships to reach your shoppers. One last little thing that I'll say before I turn this over to Jennifer is there will be a couple of videos that will be playing. So in between, in the background, we'll have a couple transitions. So you'll notice a couple minutes, not couple minutes, but a couple seconds of transition time. So thank you for your patience as we do a little back end stuff so that you can hear all of the videos as we go through. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jennifer to give us a little Walnut 101.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the California walnut industry. Next slide. Many people are surprised to hear that over 99% of English walnuts grown in the US are coming from the state of California. And they're primarily grown in the Central Valley, which you can see in the colored area on the map on this slide. We have over 4,000 growers, most of who are coming from families that have been farming for multiple generations. After planting, a walnut tree takes about 5 years to come into full production and lasts 30 to 40 years. Growers take great care of the land, knowing that in many cases their children will be caring for the trees that they have planted. Walnuts are harvested annually during September and October and are shelled to order. Most of the walnuts that you'll find at your grocery stores are from California, but if you don't see that specifically on the package, just look for product of USA. Next slide, please. In addition to tasting delicious, a serving of California walnuts is really a powerhouse of nutrients. A serving is pretty easy to measure. It's an ounce, which is equal to a quarter cup, or you can just simply use a handful. That serving contains 4 grams of plant-based protein, 2 grams of fiber, and good fats. Particularly noteworthy is that walnuts are unique among nuts because they are primarily made up of polyunsaturated fats and therefore are the only nut that provides an excellent source of essential plant-based omega-3 ALA. Research has shown that ALA may play a role in supporting heart health, brain health, as well as healthy aging. There's also other important nutrients for overall health, including copper, manganese, vitamin B6, magnesium, polyphenols, and melatonin. Walnuts really fit into a wide range of different dietary patterns, including the Mediterranean diet, as well as plant-forward eating. US dietary guidelines encourage that every eating occasion is a chance to make a nutrient-dense food choice, and you can see that walnuts definitely fit into that. Next slide, please. A recent shopper survey showed that shoppers are currently purchasing fewer items than they have in the past, and more than half are planning to cut their spending. And they're doing so by cutting out any non-essential food items. And it's important to encourage shoppers to see the versatility of nutritious ingredients that also taste great. Help them understand that nuts like walnuts can be an essential food purchase. It's also important to note that nuts in general are underconsumed in the US. In the past 2 decades, there's been an impressive amount of research done showing the positive health benefits of nuts. Yet, according to FDA, more than half of Americans are not meeting the recommended intake for nuts, seeds, and soy products. Increasing the recommended amount of nuts consumed as part of a healthy diet may help consumers lower their risk of chronic disease and potentially improve their overall health. California walnuts in particular are so versatile. They can satisfy both savory or sweet cravings while adding great flavor, nice crunchy texture, and also that wealth of nutrition. You can use them as a unique plant-based meat alternative or pair them with a variety of different seasonal produce items throughout the year, such as sweet potatoes, squashes, apples, or pears. Walnuts also store very well in the refrigerator or freezer, so your shoppers can buy them in bulk and use them across a variety of different meals and snacks. And it's very important to keep them cold to preserve those omega-3 fats in walnuts, so people should not be storing them in their pantry. Next slide, please. Nielsen data has indicated that about a quarter of walnut sales are coming from the produce section of the store, and those sales are actually growing faster than the baking aisle, where walnuts have long been a staple. However, the produce section offers some really unique advantages for selling walnuts. With 9 in 10 consumers knowing that walnuts are a healthy food, they are a great fit in the produce department, which is the epicenter of healthy eating choices. And also, did you know that 76% of consumers say that they're more likely to buy walnuts if they are displayed alongside fresh fruit or vegetables? Shoppers are looking for usage inspiration. And from a produce manager's perspective, walnuts can typically deliver a larger average basket ring with very minimal shrink. Some very simple suggestions could be to display them adjacent to bagged salad mixes or next to berries, with a suggestion to put both of them on top of yogurt for a great breakfast or snack. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lynette to talk about the role of the retail RD and the evolution of shopper engagement.
Thank you, Jennifer, for the reminder and insight on this little brown nut that is a nutrient powerhouse. As you heard earlier, I'm Lynette, and I'm currently a retail dietitian at ShopRite in Jersey City. My store is unique in that it is located in one of the most diverse, ethnically cultured or diversity in the country. If you're a cultural junkie like me, it's an exciting place to learn about traditions, familiar foods, and cultures. I have been supporting my shoppers for the last 8 years, and although every day is a little different, I'm always looking for new ways to engage them. Next slide, please. Retail dietitians are generalists. We are required to function in many areas, although some retail dietitians are specialists in their respective fields. I caution interns wanting to become retail RDs that it is a continuation of their internship. I have customized my role as a retail dietitian for my specific store to focus on cultural diversity and the unique needs of the shoppers. My upbringing in a mixed household, a dad who was a chef, sailor on an international oil tanker, my background in human resource management, and my love of food and culture made it easy for me to transfer those learned skills. As I mentioned before, my store is unique because of its diversity, and I make sure to connect with my diverse shoppers by learning about their lifestyle, how they shop, how they eat, how they prepare their food, how they socialize, how they worship, which helps build trust and cement trusted relationship between us. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, I think we need to go back to the slide before this. Yeah, sorry. So while building trust with your unique shopper is important, we cannot forget our role as for our retailers to help drive sales and encourage the purchase of nutritious ingredients. I always keep community engagement as a priority and use demos and in-store health clinics to drive that engagement in all programming. I also take into consideration 3 areas as illustrated: customer retention, check-in, consultation, drop-ins, community support. Item movement report using CGO to check movement before and after, and basket size, helping customers shop for affordable, better for you products. While many may see the work we do in store as fun, and it is certainly fun, strategically planned events like farmers market or wellness fairs can drive purchases and bring more shoppers into the store, increasing our ROI. Next slide, please. Creating experiences for the shopper, we can do so many things to create those experiences. And one of those things that I love to do during the summer and fall, during summer and fall, is to create a farmer's market, a weekend farmer's market. And I love farmer's market. It brings back warm memories of going to the market in Trinidad with my mom. It also brings back memories to my diverse shoppers. That's why one of my favorite things to do during the summer and fall months is to create a farmer's market in front of my office. The purpose is to support local farmers and create a sense of home to my shoppers. The fresh produce are literally dropped off either late Friday evening or very early Saturday morning, so our produce is super fresh. After setup, which is a work of art, we use the products to make fresh salads. Nothing is cooked. Straight from the farm this morning into your kitchen this evening is our motto. Customers love it. They stop by, they chat with us, they shop, they sample, and of course, they purchase. And most importantly, they purchase all the nice fresh produce. During these weekend farmers market, our sales increased tremendously. Based on data, it increased 3 times compared to previous years. The merchandising and sampling made a big difference. Customers were able to try a new produce, example, fresh fava beans. My produce manager didn't want to bring those fava beans. They were the first thing to go, and customers kept coming back for them. Next slide, please. In continuing to create customers' experiences, sometimes we may have to do silly things to promote the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables. And one of these things we're celebrating Dr. Seuss' birthday. I'm a reader and I wanted to encourage reading. And I was exploring how could I encourage this. I wanted to set up a library in front of my office at one time, but I decided I will celebrate Dr. Seuss' birthday. And for this event, I got the entire store involved. Throughout the day, an associate will read an excerpt from one of Dr. Seuss or their favorite Dr. Seuss books, which will blast throughout the store. I created a library in front of my office for that day, and lots of children's books were donated by the associates. We acquired samples from vendors, which were bagged and given to the kids in addition to the books. And don't forget the green eggs and ham, which we made fresh green eggs and ham muffins using spinach. Events like these support our retailer by motivating the store team through camaraderie and team spirit. Associates will want to continue to provide exceptional customer service because they were part of a successful event. They feel validated. In addition, young kids tend to determine where their parents shop and eat. With an experience like this cemented in their little brain, ShopRite will always be their supermarket of choice because it's fun, thus ensuring the sustainability of our future shoppers and the sustainability of our business. Next slide, please. Health and wellness fair these are great areas to encourage shoppers or encourage the retention of customers, and providing chronic disease management, especially for diabetes, is one of my favorite things to do as a retail dietitian. My community is very diverse, and with diversity comes challenges. I was fortunate to partner with Hackensack Meridian Health, who provides blood pressure screening and HbA1c testing, as well as smoking cessation support for anyone willing to take the leap. Because of my involvement with the local federal clinic, I'm able to refer individuals for follow-up medical care, especially those with high blood pressure and high A1C levels. The highlight of my career was getting some associates to stop smoking. These health fairs also generate a lot of consultations. My clients are basically older, that is Gen X or boomers, and most of their concerns are eating healthier to manage chronic diseases. Activities like these are beneficial to shoppers and associates, but also garner community trust and position a retail RD like yourself as a trusted pillar in the community. Next slide, please. Community outreach is another great way of building customer support and to drive shoppers to your store. During COVID-19, I partnered with Assemblywoman Angela McKnight, also of Angela Cares, to feed residents of 2 senior buildings. What started off as a $600 budget ballooned to over $250,000 in donation to Angela Cares. She ended up providing meals to every senior building in Hudson County, or sometimes anyone just requiring some basic food items. Angela is very active on social media, therefore everything was shared. And of course, ShopRite and myself was tagged in all her posts. People and businesses were just donating money for her to continue her good work. Our weekly sales from Angela were close to $3,000. She had to source from other suppliers or other retailers because we could not keep up with her demand. In addition, it motivated her followers to continue to either shop at us at ShopRite or to start shopping at ShopRite. There is no doubt that events like these help foster positive relationships and drive revenue. Sometimes you have to hitch yourself onto another star in order for you to get the recognition or be promoted the way you should. Get involved and donate your time to a food pantry. It may be worthwhile. Next slide, please. So we do a lot of merchandising and demos. It's one of the foundation of our job. And working with branded partners such as California Walnuts to plan coordinated demos provides a great opportunity to measure impact to basket size or estimate your impact to product movement by looking at sales before and after the event. When doing demos, I try to create a conversation piece with my setup, which allows me to more effectively engage with the shoppers in a meaningful manner. Next slide, please. Virtual lunch and learns are another amazing means of driving shoppers to the store. It's easy for companies to include in their employee development package. They don't need to arrange a special conference room, technology, or food. Employees can sit at their desks and receive a valuable health and wellness education and follow up in store or virtual for consultations, store tours, or help with shopping. I recently did one on behalf of the American Heart Association for a large company in Jersey City. Over 50+ employees logged on, and since then they have requested more educational webinars. And some of the participants have visited me in store for additional help, and more importantly, they walked out with a basket full of better for you products. During Lunch and Learn, especially virtual Lunch and Learn, you can demo a recipe, you can merchandise all the ingredients you use for that recipe, or you can get your participants to follow along with you, which I did in some of these. They can cook at home. They tend to like to do that, to prepare their meals in their own kitchen. And finally, welcome to the present and future, where we either love it or hate it. This aspect of my job almost had me running for the exit. However, social media may be a powerful tool to help drive and grow customers' retention and loyalty by creating captivating content. Share the video, please. So as you may see, my content left a lot to be desired, especially the first one. And it was done during the pandemic, and this was all new to us. But I did not have the skill set, time, or resources to create and deliver captivating content. My 17-year-old son was my photographer, videographer, and in the store, any available associate who can use an iPhone. Jenna has definitely mastered this skill set, and she's able to produce captivating, enticing, and delicious content that leaves you wanting more. Actually, Jenna helped me with my first virtual cooking class that turned out to be harder than I anticipated, but she made it look so easy. Jenna is the ideal person to help with learning new social media skills and drive shoppers' engagement. And I'm looking forward to learning and growing on social media using Jenna's tips and tricks. No spoiler alert here. I will pass you on to my friend and colleague, Jenna, to do what she does best. Thank you.
That was quite the intro, and I absolutely adore you, Lynette. If we could go to the next slide, please. So, fun fact, Lynette and I actually used to work together at ShopRite about 6 years ago now, which is crazy. And as you saw in her presentation, she is a dietitian that I've always looked up to for her pure creativity, her passion, and her ability to truly understand her audience so clearly, which she highlighted so beautifully today. She has this unique ability to bring her visions to life for her specific demographic, and I've always been so in awe of her for that. So Lynette, thank you for sharing all of your wisdom with us today. And I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys about social media and how social media can be this fun bridge to make your content come to life in store and out. My intention today is to show you how to make that happen while also inspiring you to do so in a fun and easy, flirty way, and realize that you have this incredible role that sets you up to shine on social media. So, hi, I'm Jenna, registered dietitian and former retail dietitian from starting in 2013, which makes me feel, whew. So I was in store 10 years ago and was a retail dietitian for close to 5 years, which what this means is that when I was in store, Instagram specifically was not even close to what it is being utilized as today. And it definitely hurt my ability to market to populations the way you all have this incredible opportunity to do so today. That being said, my role as a retail dietitian has truly helped me in all areas of my career post retail. And I'm not sure that I realized that until I was putting together this presentation, but as a retail dietitian, I just want to remind you, you have this incredibly unique opportunity to speak to people about nutrition when they want to talk about nutrition, which in many other areas of the dietetics career, you're talking to people about nutrition and food because they have to, right? So I spent many years of my career prior to retail in clinical, and that conversation with patients and clients was incredibly different than the way that you can get them excited about food and cooking and trying new things inside their store, inside your store, I'm sorry. And you're able to share your passion with people with a common interest. And again, this is something that I didn't really like light bulb moment to me until I was putting together this presentation. So I'm super grateful for that experience and the way it's transcribed into the career that I have today. So excuse me, my retail past has helped me better understand how to feed my child, thanks to the cooking classes that we did in store. I use all of those tips and tricks still. Yesterday, I called something like Hulk chips because they were green, and I remember doing that in a class in store, and the kids in the class definitely were more receptive to it than my son, so I guess I have to keep practicing. But my career as a retail dietitian also helped me better understand brand needs and how to deliver the best information to consumers to benefit the brands most. It's helped me in my podcast to be able to speak confidently about myth busting and to help the population understand myths about grocery shopping in general, and the food industry. In private practice, I built my practice on the principal pillar to make food more fun and enjoyable, and retail is what taught me how to do that. As a content creator, which is what we're going to be talking about today, retail dietetics taught me how to talk on camera. You can see pictures on here. One particular, I remember being so nervous with my pharmacist at the time shooting this video about flu shots and flu fighting foods. I think we did 100 takes of it and they wanted to kill me because I just was so uncomfortable talking to the camera but the more practice that I was able to get in the retail setting and talking to people again that want to be talked to about nutrition just has helped me in so many different ways. And I'm so excited to share a lot of that with you today. So next slide, please. So how to amplify in-store enthusiasm with the use of social media. In today's world, social media exists. Although it's changing every single day, I do believe in my heart it's not going anywhere. And because of this, it provides you as the retail dietitian the ability to bring your demos to life with a larger lifespan. And I think that's the key that I really want to drive home. Everything you guys are doing in store is incredible, and it can live longer on these platforms for more eyes to see it. And I think that's like the coolest part about all of it. But pre-social media, when I was in store, we relied on calendars, overhead speakers, community promotion, word of mouth. All of these things are still things that I'm sure you're doing today, but they can live alongside the addition of social media's use to amplify your messages and promote it and reach a larger population, which translates to larger cart sizes, more sales, making the entire store happy. Shoppers are so busy and they typically don't allow extra time to mosey around the aisles of the grocery store in their busy days. So this ability to reach them where they are, which is here often, is going to be super helpful. And again, it's just going to add so much to what you're already doing. And it's so funny because I always used to say that until I became a retail dietitian, I never understood how food shopping could be like an enjoyable experience. It was always, I had a list, I had 15 minutes, I needed to get in and get out. I never gave myself the opportunity to walk around the aisles, explore, ask questions, and have fun. And I'm sure a lot of your shoppers are the same. So meeting them where they are, which unfortunately or fortunately, they're on their phones, is again going to be another tool in your toolbox to be able to reach more people. So shoppers today, like I said, have less time. They're connected to their devices, but a lot of times when they're on their devices in the store, unless their kids have them, they are looking up recipes, which is a huge opportunity for you. So I think, actually, I just want to add in, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I used to get so upset when I would plan hours, weeks, months, a demo, something I was super excited about. And I felt that everybody was unaware of my specific demo that I was doing. And I was doing it in the time frame that I had advertised, and people were like surprised of what I was doing in the store. But like realistically, again, I'm looking at this now from this like outsider perspective. Not many people maybe had the luxury to be food shopping at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. And now that I'm a mom, I understand so much more that like that's nap time. And my crowd in the Hoboken store was a lot of moms and parents. So like that was a miss on my end. However, if I had the content to back it up on my phone, on social media to show them, they could make it a post nap time trip to the store and make it something fun for themselves and their children. So the power of social media alongside in-store promotion allows for your demo to be extended. And that's how I really want you to think about it. So imagine that you have all the ingredients, the tools, the meal prep containers, all of the stuff needed, like Lynette said, to merchandise this demo available in one spot in the store. And you have the ability to post a video on social media, not only showing your consumer how to make it and how to use it, but also how to find it, where to find it, and actually visually showing them the demo that you maybe would have shown them in store to, let's say, 15 to 30 people. Now, potentially, you're able to show your demo that you did from 2 to 4 on a Tuesday to every single shopper with a smartphone. And that is the power of social media inside the retail career. So you as the retail dietitian have the power to get your shoppers excited about food and make food just more fun for them. And it's just like the most incredible thing. But you also have the opportunity to show on social and pair it with showing in the store to reach double the amount of people, which also, again, increases the potential to increase sales over a longer portion of time. I included this photo in here too, because again, 10 years ago, we didn't have an Instagram for the team of dietitians that I was working on. But back then, we even saw this potential and the power of what social media could do. So we remember that people wanted to see like not just why we recommended the products, but how we specifically use them. And I'm sure every dietitian on here can relate to somebody saying, well, like, what do you eat for a snack? Or like, what do you do with that? Like, what do you put peanut butter on? I'm looking at the peanut butter and the yogurt. I'm sure that blew so many people's minds because as dietitians, we think differently than other people. It's just how we are, and it's a gift to be able to share that with people. So even 10 years ago, people wanted more than just quick tips on handouts, and we saw this opportunity to show them how to use nutritious foods in this evergreen format, which means always there. So next slide, please. So now in a world where social media not only exists, but it's literally used by everyone. And I do want to tell you, like, no matter what your population is, my 91-year-old grandmother is on Facebook. She sees my stories that are pushed to my Facebook channel. She thinks I'm talking to her, but like that's another story. If that is your population, do not shy away from that platform or social media in general to reach that demographic as well. Opportunities with social are limitless, and how you can use them today, it is just, again, this opportunity to reach people in this evergreen format, which evergreen is just a fancy word to mean like always there content. And your in-store demonstrations, they just don't have that same possibility or that same opportunity. So although your demo might have been on brand for the time, for the season, or whatever it was, somebody might be inspired to make that an entire month later because they saw it pop up on their social media feed. And now that like maybe a little bit pricier option or products that you were promoting a month ago is picking up again because social media is pushing out that content. And like, that's a really cool thing. It's also going to save paper because you don't have to be printing out so many recipes. They're just there, which is great for the environment. So it also allows for in-store impulse purchases plus excited planned trips from shoppers. So you're increasing those impulse buys when they see something on your shelves or they see you demoing something, but it's also giving shoppers a reason to make a planned trip to come into the store based on the content that you are talking about. Social media, in my opinion, is the best marketing. I read a statistic once that one single TikTok video has the opportunity to reach a larger audience than a Super Bowl commercial. Like that to me is just wild, and they never go away. You know, they're just there. Social media videos, your internet imprint just lives on. So it's a huge marketing opportunity for your store, and it's a great way to educate and empower your consumers prior to events or after them as well. Social media can educate your customers on product selection, why you chose it, and the nutrition benefits because you are a registered dietitian. And video marketing specifically gets consumers excited about the recipes, about the items, specifically because they're seeing how you do it, not just what you're doing. And I believe in my heart from experience and just in general that the how with anything in life builds confidence, because of somebody that sees how simple that recipe that maybe sounded complicated really is, it makes them feel like they can replicate it. And that confidence boost is incredible for so many reasons, but specifically for you to sell the ingredients for that recipe. In addition, your shoppers are eating with their eyes. So videos increase shopper excitement, they increase trust, cart size, and sales. So everyone in the store is happy, and they do this because they're seeing the recipe being made and thinking to themselves, I can do that. Maybe they missed the part of your demo or cooking class where you're actually making the food and they just got there and the food that they see looks complicated to make. If you have the video to go back on, you can be like, no, this was so easy to make. Let me show you. They see the ease of it, then they taste it. They know that you've carefully selected the ingredients based on their nutrition profile and the season, etc. They know, like, and trust you already because you're their in-store dietitian. So that makes everything just so much easier to sell. And they know that they will help you. They know that you will help them find the ingredients that they need if they need that help. So I think it's just like this beautiful vision board that you can think about for your shoppers. Next slide, please. So now, our shoppers want simplicity. So if you could make it for them and deliver it to them, I'm sure there are certain populations that would absolutely want that, especially if you told them it was quote unquote good for them. But when you put out a sample of a recipe, like I was saying before, it's hard sometimes, especially for your non-cooking clients, to decide if that's something that they have the ability or the skill to make themselves. So again, the use of video and showing versus telling shows how simple the recipe is prepared and how it can be used as reinforcements during the day when people are asking questions about the products. So the opportunities of then versus now, again, it really just comes down to if you heard on an announcement, you saw on a calendar, you know, for example, we're going to use the recipe that I did for my content specifically for this presentation. Like, if anyone on here heard, like, Jenna Warner is going to be making walnut meat burgers from 12 to 2 on Thursday afternoon, the customer that doesn't necessarily like feel confident in the kitchen but really wants to is like, how does a walnut become a burger? Like, that sounds complicated to me. No, thank you. They might skip it. However, if they see the video and they see how I've selected this nutrient dense option and how I'm just using a blender, which you guys will see in a second, to make 3 different styles of meals and a meal that I'm feeding my entire family with a bunch of different flavor profiles. So I'm meal prepping it. I'm making a ton for the week, but I'm making it taste different to prevent boredom, to increase just opportunities for excitement around the meal each and every time. And they taste it. Like, in my opinion, like, that's in the bag, sold. And you'll see the response that it got on TikTok means to me that it hit home to that audience as well. So I wanted to decrease the fear of complicated as the recipe and decrease the fear of someone potentially thinking that they would get bored of a bigger batch of an item like this. So the side benefits of this video too, of doing like one recipe 3 different ways, was increasing cart size, increasing sales, introduction to a product that maybe somebody never visually thought of in the way that it's going to be consumed, and also to encourage shoppers to see just like the different flavor profiles that can be used with one meal to make it so much more fun and enjoyable for themselves. So I do just want to say on here that I find I've given presentations on social media to quite a few people before, and I find that a lot of the times dietitians specifically will say, well, somebody has already made that recipe, like, why should I make it again? And I think what you have to remember, specifically as a retail dietitian in a store, seeing these shoppers and people all the time, you have the know, like, and trust factor with your audience. And if somebody knows you as the dietitian in Jersey City, let's say it's Lynette, and that she is posting this recipe, they already trust that she has their best interest in mind. They know that she thought about price. They know that she thought about flavor. They know that she thought about selection. They know that she thought about nutrition. And they're like, wow, Lynette's posting this recipe. She's super passionate about it. She's excited about it. I got to try it. Right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that your voice and energy are needed, and the way that you will make even the recipe that I made here will be completely different, and it's going to hit home with a completely different audience. And I think that that's like a really cool thing to remember. You have this gift, this captive audience already, and to be able to share your knowledge with them and inspire them to add in a new ingredient, even like something like walnuts, into their home, I think is just such a beautiful thing. And something like this recipe specifically, like, you're showing people how to use walnuts in a way that they've never even thought about before. And again, I think that that's really cool. So the big overarching picture is showing versus telling, and the simplicity factor. So when you're calling out the incredible nutrition benefits of the product to increase awareness and drive purchase, you are also boosting confidence, which leads to recreatability, which leaves shoppers thinking about walnuts every time they think about meal prep, which again is a really cool thing. So on the next slide, you guys are going to see the video that I created. There we go. So you can see here that the intention was to take this recipe, show how easy it is to use it. I also wanted to show if somebody has the capability or they're a delivery shop from home audience, that they could drop all the ingredients right into their cart. It shows up at their door, and they're using a blender to make this, what maybe to some people sounds complicated, simple recipe in so many fun new ways. If you could go to the next slide, please. How can we marry social media and your in-store demos for the best possible outcome? And I think the recipe, the pun intended, for the best outcome for this would be, I came up with like a little action plan for you guys today. So I would recommend a series of posts on the product, the recipe, the brand that you're posting. So using California walnuts as our case study for today, I would recommend on the channels that you're using, dedicating either a week or a month-long theme to dripping out content on the brand and the product to your audience in all post formats. So what this means is that you're going to be making a multitude of fun and interactive content to keep the shopper engaged, educating them subliminally or intentionally, giving them tons of information about this product, and using all hats of your retail role so that you can educate on the benefits of walnuts, and then you're educating on where to find them, then you're educating on your favorite ways to use them, and your managers and your staff's favorite ways to use them, and maybe your local influencer's favorite way to use them. But in the caption of every single post that you are posting about walnuts, you are highlighting the date of your event, you are highlighting the date of your demo, and you are teasing out that you have this fun, new, exciting way to use this product that you've never seen before coming up. Your audience does not want to miss that. It's coming on XYZ date. So this is showing the shoppers your excitement, your passion about the ingredient, the why behind why you chose walnuts to dedicate an entire month to your social for, and educating them, and then again, bringing this product to top of mind. So let's say we did a week-long campaign using all types of social channels. Let's say on Monday, you talk about on stories your item pick of the month or the week. You are highlighting where they are located in the store, and you are showing your audience on social media all of the places that you can find them inside your specific store, and telling them something fun is coming, come find me, we'll talk about it. On Tuesday, you're posting a carousel post because Instagram loves carousel posts right now. And you're going to show your top 5 ways to use walnuts in everyday life, because someone's going to save that and they're going to come back to it. On Wednesday, you're going to post a reel educating your audience on all of the nutrient benefits of walnuts. Maybe you'll dance, maybe you'll talk, who knows, but you'll make it fun and exciting. And you're going to educate your audience that somebody can come back to. On Thursday, maybe you post another photo series showing what a serving of walnuts looks like, like Jennifer discussed on there, to show them just different ways to educate. And then on Friday, you post your recipe reel to coincide with the promotion of the demo that's happening on Saturday. And then on Saturday, you go live during the demo so that you can have people watching you online. Maybe they're watching from home, but they've had an entire week to get their ingredients ready to go so they can cook alongside you while they're home and people can come in and taste them. I think going live would be amazing if you have the capabilities to do so, because it can bring in more eyes on it. And during this week-long content ramp up, you can also send these posts to your local groups and influencers in your area and invite them to come in and see you in action. If you can go to the next slide, please. So here we go. So how to pick an item to feature, and like the most successful item to pick and feature would be, I want you to think seasonal and I want you to think versatile, and how they are used and cooked and enjoyed, but also how they're cross-merchandised. Also, obviously, flavor, because if something doesn't taste good, your shoppers are not going to enjoy it. And this is why walnuts were the absolute perfect pick for this demo for you guys today. Your shoppers need and want all of these things: the versatility, the ease, and also the flavor. And again, that's why walnuts were an absolute no-brainer. So to reiterate, we chose walnuts today because they're nutritious and versatile. As you saw, we turned them into a burger because shoppers likely do not currently see them in this capacity, and they maybe only know walnuts as wet walnuts on ice cream. That's the first thing that comes to my head. Maybe they don't ever picture them as burgers, or perhaps only the vegan vegetarian audience previously knew them this way. And now you are showing, parents and families and shoppers in general how perfect this item is for all ages and all preferences. You're opening up your shoppers' eyes to new ways to use a product, and something that's also super nutritious for them. And you can demo about so many different ways to use the product, which is like such a benefit, which increases the opportunities to increase cart size and sales, which benefits the entire store and makes everybody in store happy. To close, I have one more slide. I did just want to share, I don't know if you can see it, mine got cut off a little bit on here, but the outcomes of the social media post that we put on TikTok that you guys just saw. It reached 23,000 people and had over like 2,400 likes, I believe, on it, and some saves as well. If you like something on TikTok, it gets categorized in an area that you can easily find and come back to, which means like 2,000 people likely liked that recipe enough and want to come back and maybe try it. That is statistics, or those are statistics that you can share with your store managers, staff, boss, etc., to say like, this is the potential we have to influence our audience. Even if it's 5 people, it doesn't matter. It's maybe 5 people that are now coming into the store for that. If you're new to social media content creation, I do have just a couple recommendations that are on the screen if you guys want to take a picture of it. But content right now on social is always changing. So again, remember that balance is key, mixing it up from still photos to carousel photos to tip photos to video content, using sites like Canva to make pretty still photos is super helpful, that I forgot to put on here. But when it comes to video content, CapCut and InShot are my 2 favorite. And the best advice I can give you, which is something that I've learned only recently, is shoot more video than you think that you need. And what I mean by that is that if you're shooting just like snippets, one step at a time, 15 seconds, you're going to miss something. You're going to forget to shoot something. Something is going to get lost in translation. What I recommend is shooting the whole 30-minute time it took you to make the recipe, and then chop it up in one of these apps. It's so much easier and you won't miss anything. And like a swivel stand, the one that I have on here, I have an Amazon storefront that I just categorized everything for you guys. That can get that overhead view, which helps for those like hand-only video content, instead of just, asking, like Lynette said, her 17-year-old son to shoot it for her, which is also a great option if you have that available. And then some lighting stuff is always helpful, especially if you don't have natural light available inside your store. And that is all I have today. But actually, we are moving into key moments to engage shoppers with, I think the team is coming back on. And Lynette too, I think. But key moments to engage shoppers with walnuts specifically. So again, allowing the shoppers to see new ways to use familiar foods is a gift that you guys have the ability to give your shoppers. A great way to do this is to incorporate them into holiday shopping recipes and also major store retail push moments. So you can see a bunch of them listed on here. And that when the stores get busy and people are shopping a lot more for that, like cook at home or prepping for events, you can feature these items in the showcase with a recipe available, and maybe you have the video content back up to share with them as well. And for walnuts specifically, showing how to use them in new ways outside of simply baking, but also with baking, is such a great way to expand their mindset on what the power and potential of walnuts can be. Personally, I love the idea of showcasing it in like a snack moment idea with road trips, summer snacking, travel, airplanes, beaches, back to school, packing for your college student, and so on. Lynette, I think you're muted.
Making it more fun for your shoppers is key, and the opportunities to show your creativity as an RD, and especially retail RDs, is unmatched. Showing customers how to make something that may look difficult easy, such as the beet and walnut hummus, or subbing walnuts for animal protein, such as walnut tacos, is another fun and delicious option to engage customers both on social media and in the store.
And, you know, the opportunities to showcase walnuts are really endless, but on this slide, here are some of the key opportunities that we will be supporting through in-store promotions. Some of our more traditional uses are, of course, you know, Easter and Passover timeframe, as well as holiday, but there's a lot of opportunity to start that holiday season earlier with walnuts and inspire them to start thinking about walnuts, you know, even into the fall. And then we've had tremendous success with American Heart Month, which is a great opportunity to get walnut sales after that core holiday season. Walnuts have proven heart health benefits, so it's a really nice opportunity to tie into that and the American Heart Association heart check mark. And then, of course, the summer snacking encourages a new usage for walnuts. So next slide. And one more thing, do you know about the power of 3? March is a perfect opportunity to start creating and sharing information about walnuts. Not only is it National Nutrition Month, but we have a global campaign running called The Power of 3, which is all about raising awareness of the health benefits associated with omega-3 ALA. And it really spotlights the many ways that walnuts can help increase intake of ALA in the diet throughout many different uses. In particular, we're showcasing some plant-forward recipe uses, working with a variety of social influencers, and Jenna's recipe is a perfect example of the kind of content that really fits in perfectly with this campaign. And while the number 3, you know, really ties in perfectly with the month of March, this theme can really apply throughout the entire year. So feel free to reach out to me or reach out to retail@walnuts.org if you have any questions or interest in support for any other seasonal moments throughout the year. Next slide. Before we wrap, I just want to take a minute to talk about how you can stay current with California walnuts. We have a lot of resources available for you at walnuts.org that can support the work that you do every day in the store. We have a retail page with shopper insights, merchandising recommendations, promotional assets, and more. And we have a robust library of recipes that you with meals and snacks that are easy to prepare. We also have a health professional page where you can find the latest health research abstracts, summaries of health research findings, and more. And in the chat right now, we're going to put a link to our quarterly Bite newsletter, which is a special e-newsletter we do 4 times a year for health professionals that includes the latest news, research, and trends on walnuts. And be sure to follow us on all of our social channels at California Walnuts. And on this slide, just showing again that email address that you can reach out to for any retail support. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, we are at time. We did have several questions come through the chat, and I just want to throw out one of them here. Because I think this is a question a lot of people have anxiousness about. What do you do with negative comments on a post?
I'm happy to answer that one if you'd like me to. I think
Please.
so. I've spoken to a group of dietitians about social media previously, and the exact same question came up. And I think it just comes down to you have to have thick skin, like you do. But at the same time, if you feel confident about the information that you put out there, you know it was evidence-based, you know the intention was to create awareness and impact in a positive way, and you feel strongly about it, you can delete, you can block, you can ignore. But putting yourself out there on social media, that is going to happen, because not everybody is going to agree with you. But again, you have the potential to reach so many more positive comments than the negative, and that's what you should focus on. There was not one negative comment on the video that I posted, just throwing that out there. So it is possible to have a video post without any negativity.
I love that. Thank you for that response, Jenna. So for everybody, just being conscious of time, we know that you all have very busy days that you have to get back to. Talking behind the scenes to the group that orchestrated this whole thing, we are going to take your questions and we will do a response, and we'll send that out via email as well so that it's all put together. We'll make sure that you have the link to the Walnut newsletter, as well as that post survey and your CPEU certificate. All of that will come from me in an email within the next 24 hours. We'll give ourselves a little bit of time to answer your questions that came through in the chat. So thank you for your engagement. Thank you for the presentation. I mean, Jenna, Lynette, Jennifer, you guys had great content, and we appreciate it here at RDBA. And just a special shout out to the California Walnut Commission for sponsoring this webinar. So it will be recorded and available within a week. And if you are watching this later, feel free to send an email to info@Retail Dietitians for your certificate, as well as all of the content that I just mentioned. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.